I can hear your voice. I can hear your voice.
How's that look? Everybody see it?
Yep, looks good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like it is 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Off to a good start.
I've already been accused once of not running a tight ship today.
It's 01 on mine. Just going to put that out there.
Thank you for that. So we have gotten through all of our regularly scheduled technical glitches. So hopefully we can come up with some more, but because it's always fun to react. But welcome to SecKC February of 2021, and aren't we all excited to still be doing this virtually? We have an extraordinarily fun night tonight, as you might expect. If you're not on there already, please hop on the Discord, because that is the place to hang out and talk crap, ask questions, etc., etc., etc. So we try not to push too fast through all of this, and there's sort of a schedule. We'll do what we can, but we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So what is SecKC? What should you know? It is the absolute biggest, bestest, everest monthly InfoSec hacker event in the world. Now you'll see that this says it's at Kansas Hall on the second Tuesday of each month. It is not at Kansas Hall right now. It's on Zoom because, well, that's the world we live in today. But it will be in Kansas Hall again. And when it is, we will love it. Thank you, everybody who's here, for coming. We can't have the biggest and bestest monthly InfoSec event without a bunch of hackers. So all of you showing up is really what makes this work. And we're happy to do presentations and have talks and talk shit on Discord and all of those fun things. But if there's nobody else doing it with us, what's the point? So thank you very much for being here. That is what it is about. I may have already used a couple of words. Important to know meetings are not rated. Let's be honest, typically we do this in a bar. And so there's sort of an assumption of a certain amount of adultness. The short answer here is we say fuck a lot. So just be prepared. That said, we are professionals and we smile a lot too. We do have a code of conduct. That is actually one of the things that makes SecKC. I was on a different server in a different class with different people, and somebody, actually a highly respected person in the InfoSec community, said something about InfoSec not always being super welcoming and being kind of a boys club. And it gave me pause because I never get that vibe at SecKC. We have a code of conduct team. They do a fantastic job. Now, if we were all together in a physical place, I would tell you to look for the bright yellow badges like you see a picture of there. As it is, if you fire up your Discord client, if you've got the member list showing in the upper right corner, you'll find a code of conduct team. You can hit all of them with an @code of conduct, or pick whichever person you feel is best and has a green dot. If there's anybody that's made you feel uncomfortable, that's made you feel attacked, that's not what we're about. They're the people to deal with it. So by all means, make use of that if that's what you need to do. This is a welcoming place. It is about people. If we don't like something, we talk about ideas. We don't talk about the person. If something's made you uncomfortable, tell the person to stop. If they don't stop, talk to the code of conduct folks. That's what they're here for. Destroy no data. We are not about doing harm. Maintain no persistence. This is not a place for doing anything that might hurt somebody, might get someone in serious trouble, etc. That said, shenanigans are absolutely encouraged. You may have seen one of our say new person joined Discord message is that the cops are here too. That is true. We do have various law enforcement folks that like to hang out with us. Lots of them are hackers. So they have good ideas and cool projects too. So by all means, talk about all the cool stuff you do. Just think about all the stuff you're talking about. That said, we don't keep a member list or anything like that. We don't keep a list of the attendees. We have the Eventbrite just as a way to kind of get Zoom info out there right now. We use it to order pizza when we're all together, just to understand what the attendance is. But we're not saving that. There's not a giant database or spreadsheet or AWS bucket or anything else that's holding all of the member data. Everybody here belongs here. Everyone here is technical. There's no reason to pretend like they aren't. There's no reason to talk down to somebody. This goes back to the points about our code of conduct team. Again, we talk about the ideas. We don't talk about the person. So this is a whole lot more appropriate discussion when we're all together at Kansas Hall. You might remember about halfway back through the room, there's a great big wall there for no reason at all. Whatever. But when someone wanted to talk, we would quickly tell them to shut the fuck up and go behind the STFU wall. Now we have an STFU channel in Discord if you want a spot to chat. We've actually got voice channels for most of the different sections. So if you want to talk, by all means make use of them. But if you start interrupting somebody's talk in the Zoom or what have you, you shall be quickly muted. So while you're here, meet somebody. Hang out in the Discord, like I said, talk to folks. Clearly you have shared ideas because, hey, you came to a hacker meetup, and that's what we do when we have shared ideas. We like to hang out and talk about them. So by all means, find someone new, introduce yourself, just click on a random name in the member list and say, hey, I'm here. What do you think was cool about these talks? If there's something you want us to do better, and I'm sure there are lots of things because this is not, certainly my forte, by all means, volunteer. We'd be super excited to have more people involved. If there are talks you'd like to hear, hey, tell us about the talk you want to hear, or, produce the talk you want to hear. If you want to hear something else on, I don't know, putting together guitar amplifiers, hey, why not? If you've got a Raspberry Pi project that's awesome, let's hear about it. Anything at all. If it's hackerish and cool, we're probably going to be really excited to have you talk about it one night. So by all means, bring your ideas. Feel free to hit me up, go to the ops channel in the Discord, or there is a submission link on SecKC.org. Back to things that don't actually matter today. The Eventbrite's just there for pizza. Sorry, we didn't bring pizza this time. Follow us on Twitter. If you haven't yet, look out for SecKC, we trend it as much as we can. Follow the account on Twitter. You'll occasionally see announcements, Easter eggs, and other things. And buy swag. If there's swag you want, swag we have, you can find it listed there at the shop. I think there might even be some swag that's not there. So ask in the swag channel to see what might be sitting around in the stores as well. And let's see if we can hook you up. Repping SecKC is always highly encouraged. All right, so we are here. It is, and except, yeah, I did change it to 7. Okay, good. So we've gotten past make excuses time. If you were following the Twitter, you might have seen that already. That was SecKC 101. Here in just a few minutes, Mr. Aaron is going to do the news. Luckily, we have not had anything happen lately. There have not been any major breaches. There haven't been any major political events. There hasn't been any weird technology stuff. It has all been just totally steady state. So that should go quick and easy. Then we've got something I've been following this project for a while because it's been in the Discord. This very cool work that I knew nothing about weather balloons. I found out. I mean, I'd heard of them existing, right? We blamed them on aliens or aliens on them lots of times. Had no idea the level at which all that operates. So we're going to get a very cool talk on that. And I'm extremely excited about it. And hardware hacking is just voodoo to me. So I'm excited for that. And then something else that I've been having a lot of fun with TryHackMe rooms. And they're a blast. They're interesting. There's a lot. It's a good way to learn stuff. I've used it. I've recommended several people I work with to it. Okay, we're going to start using MITRE. Well, hey, there's a great TryHackMe room on that. It's a great tutorial. Well, Steve likes them so much, he's actually created a couple, and he's going to walk us through what that project looks like and what that process is, and then also kind of show you the stuff that he's working on, and it's pretty darn cool. So very much looking forward to that. We will stick kind of close to this schedule. It gives us a couple of chances for breaks, but it won't be exact. So hang out for the night. Let's have a good time. That gives us till I've actually got to look at my clock. All right, well, we've got just about 5 minutes, and then we'll spin Aaron up with the news. I think he's got to, grab a drink and get ready to spit out all that news all that fast.
I'm so ready.
Awesome, man. Nice. That is sweet.
It's because, and I can do this, and based on my monitor configuration, it makes sense. It's great.
Something I forgot to mention, if you have questions during somebody's presentation, feel free to fire them off in either probably the general channel or the outhouse channel on Discord, and we'll try to collect those for them as we go. If we miss it, we'll have Q&A at the end of all of the presentations, so feel free to save your question and we'll see what we can do to answer it for you. Terrible at watching the chat in Zoom though, so.
Really? You don't just pop it out?
I've got so many things popped out already, I just lose track of it.
Well, all right. Yep, that happens. Man, this pandemic sucks ass.
Yes. Yeah, I don't even like people that much, and I'm missing people.
Dude, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, I knew I was going to miss all of you, but by and large, you're my only friends. So but here we are. I miss people, I guess.
XKCD, always appropriate to any situation, he put his meter of hugs on there, and he's like, apparently, I'm more of a hug person than I thought.
I think I want the option, right?
Yeah.
You know, like it's not cool. Yeah, you always miss what you can't have. It's terrible. I'm so done. Pump me full of that vaccine.
Well,
I
luckily,
don't care
Missouri
what's
is
in it.
Hey, luckily Missouri is doing just a bang up job of rolling that out. So
Yeah, I think I'm in phase 1B because I work IT for a university. So
I think I'm in phase Q.
phase Q.
I'm in phase whatever's. We'll get to them eventually. But that's appropriate.
Yeah.
That's where I should be. I work from home now, so.
Okay, it's 7:15. I don't fuck around with time because you ain't got a lot of that in life. All right. We're back, everyone. Hooray! Hooray! You guys remember this movie? It's called We're Back, a dinosaur's story. So, welcome to the first SecKC of the year. It's been a long time. Most of you probably know me, but I haven't been very active in the Discord lately. I don't know why. I'm really sorry. So those of you that don't know me, I'm Sis Aaron. I do stuff for SecKC. People like me because I get mad and tell you the news. Sometimes I play music. Sometimes I give talks. But I always volunteer because SecKC is awesome. Highly encourage you to do so if you don't already. I live in Columbia, Missouri, for those of you that don't know. And prior to the whole world going to shit, I still managed to make it out there pretty much every month. So if I can do it, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. Well, what's this segment? This is the news. This is we do this the Ignite format, so 15 seconds per slide. I do this for 10 minutes or so. It's pretty exact because I've got them on timers. It's fun because I get my words jumbled up and I cuss a lot and I get mad. I've actually been sick lately, so I'm kind of Dayquil'd out. I might be a little more subtle this time, but we'll see. It might get my nerves out. I might just the Hulk will bust out and I'll get angry. So you might be asking yourself, okay, well, that sounds really funny and entertaining or anything, but do I get to learn anything? And look, I'm going to be real with you. No, not in this segment. I'm just going to yell a lot. That's it. And I hope it's entertaining and funny. But in case you catch wind of something that sounds like you kind of want to know, what that's all about, I do provide you all of the links that I gather up as time goes on, and I post those in the Discord afterwards. So look forward to that. I'll post it in there after I get done with this. And finally, before we let Jesus take the wheel and this go on autopilot, this is kind of what the news feels like to me right now. So I haven't always done the news. I'm actually kind of a baby when it comes to SecKC volunteer time. But people like the news a lot. But nonetheless, I inherited this from other people, and I think I might be ready to pass the torch. So I would like you to be a newsman, newswoman, news whatever. I don't care. I would like you, yes, you, to do the news. So with enough training, I will teach you how to be angry. I will teach you how to swear like your life depended on it. We'll become really good friends. So let me know if this interests you, if you would like to take the limelight, this illustrious spot of keeping the world informed. So without any further ado, let's go. All right, first up, we got some shit about LiDARs. Lasers got used as fucking spying equipment like back in the Cold War days. So some cats over at some university managed to do this shit with a Roomba because a Roomba uses LiDAR and they made fucking speakers jiggle. Fuck. Google is rolling out end-to-end encrypted messaging on Android devices. That's really cool. iMessage has been able to do that for a really fucking long time. And I'm glad Google's finally joining the club. So now people don't have to use WhatsApp and some other fucking application. That's cool. Oh, shit. There's a bunch of routers that are made in China that are sold exclusively to Walmart, and it turns out they're really fucking busted. They're so busted that they've got a GUI for the backdoor that's included in them. It's kind of fucking stupid. No one knows why. Oh, here's a really cool video. Is it going to play? Fuck, do I have to hit it? Oh, shit. Yes. All right. Look at this. Look at this guy. Google Project Zero. Oh, he just turned off all those fucking iPhones remotely. Oh, that could be your iPhone, bitch. Sucks. Oh, that sucks, Steve. Okay. There, we got a really cool post on OPSEC. OPSEC is really important because you don't want people to know that what you're doing is you in some situations. So go read this guy's post about online OPSEC. You might have heard about this. FireEye had a thing happen. Well, SolarWinds had a thing happen, but we'll talk about that later. They stole some shit from FireEye. They're mean, but FireEye released tools so you can detect it. So that's pretty cool. Hey, you guys remember, what was it, Trek vulnerabilities? Well, hey, there's another set here, Amnesia 33. This is a set of flaws in 4 open source TCP IP libraries, UIP, FNet, Pico TCP, and NewNet. Oh yeah, there was a SolarWinds thing that happened. Some like 18,000 organizations affected because someone managed to get a hold of the supply chain of SolarWinds and inject some nasty shit into their shit. And now you're eating their nasty shit. Those crazy guys at Ben Gurion University are back with another crazy air gap attack. They managed to exfiltrate data off of a computer with no wireless, radio in there by making the RAM jiggle at a particular rate. It's crazy. It's so cool. A bunch of Google services went down for about 47 minutes, and the world collectively fucking shit their pants because we can't do without 2 seconds of YouTube. It turned out there was some bullshit happening with their OAuth servers. So, oops, availability, go bye-bye. They killed my boy! They killed my boy! CentOS is dead. There's going to be something called CentOS Stream, and it's apparently not fucking CentOS. So, thanks, Red Hat jack-offs. Emotet's back after, it was back in like December. Maybe it's still around. Who fucking knows? It took a nap for like 2 months and then it's back. So, it's back and it's still serving up TrickBot, QuackBot, Zloader, all that stupid bullshit. Here's another video that I didn't autoplay correctly, so I'm cheating here. You like my additional value here? I'm putting in videos now. This guy is solving CAPTCHAs with Google's text-to-chat API like a fucking genius. Oh, it's playing some sound that you can't hear it. Fuck, that's done. All right. This guy got a blog post up about using disposable Windows VMs for doing random shit, like testing and stuff like that, but found that he was having issues with trying to get them all set up just right. He's got a cool post on that. You can read that. Here's another fucking video that I didn't set up autoplay right on. This cat made a thing where you can go look up Amazon S3 buckets that are open, and you can go learn about what's in them so that you can tell them, the owners of the bucket, that is, that they're a fucking idiot and they need to stop doing that thing. We had a thing happen in January. Wait, no, enhance. Holy shit, guys, that's him. That's him. That's the hacker 4chan. He was at the fucking Capitol. We just made news here, guys. All right. Back in serious, there's a really big breach of fucking sexy pictures, I guess, from a social media app called Fleek. And be careful if you're going to take nudie pictures, because that shit doesn't go away. Uganda shut off their internet leading up to an election. Apparently, the incumbent is a really tech-savvy guy that gets he's good with social media. So the sitting president was like, "Yeah, fuck the internet, turn that shit off," and he did. Zoom is making people get to like blow the whistle in new fun ways, but then there's like watermarking abilities in Zoom too. So maybe someone's trying to take a video of me swearing and cussing and I do bad shit, blackmail me. I'm gonna know. Let's see. This guy wound up watching a top level domain for the Republic of Congo go dead, and then he reserved it so that some dickhole didn't do it. And he managed to control about 50% of DNS traffic going to that TLD. Another video here. This is actually a live recreation of what happened when a parent had let his two kids fuck around on his laptop, and they managed to find a screensaver bypass vulnerability in Linux Mint. Pretty cool stuff. Some crazy cat figured out that you can make a Kindle download some malware, and all you need to do is know your victim's email address. Not a very high barrier to go over. Now, what kind of malicious shit you would run on a Kindle? I don't know, but this cat did. Joker Stash is getting closed down, so now everyone in the carding business is gonna, I don't know, try and find somewhere else to go. And there's probably going to be a bunch of fake sites that pop up in its place. So then the carders are going to get fucked over, and that's going to be kind of funny, but that's interesting. Flash is dead. Hooray! At least kind of, sort of. I mean, it's still going to exist in some format in Edge and Internet Explorer for some stupid reason, but pretty much everything's HTML5 and, WebGL and all that. So fuck Flash. It's done. We had a good day. Let's see. There's a TCP/IP hijacking flaw that's available. It's particularly easy to exploit in Windows 7. Basically, there's some variable called an IP ID variable. It's a global variable, and I guess it just lets you predict the TCP sequence number real easy. We had a scenario where some jackass ended up catfishing a bunch of security researchers and then wound up compromising them by redirecting them to a website that was hosting some 0-day in Chrome. I can't remember anymore. Go read it. Oh yeah, there was totally a vulnerability in sudo, which is just a slightly pants-shittingly terrifying issue for anyone that runs any shared login system. All you needed was a user account. Not very hard in, say, a university. Apple gave us this really cool but also really fucking creepy thing about a day in the life of your data. So they have this example of a father and daughter going out on a play date, and you get to be real creeped out by what happens with all your data. It's fucking terrifying. Some jerk off wound up registering the Pearl.com website, which it's not actually the official Pearl website, but it's pretty, I don't know, well known, I guess. I don't know. And then they started serving up malware because they're fucking unimaginative pricks. This cat wound up hacking the Nespresso smart cards to get RFID. Weak ass shit. Boom, you got 667,000 fucking whatever euro dollars things. Who knows? Let's see. Some group ended up pasting over a KKK website, and then they fucking doxed the owner, which I think is cool, but you got to be really fucking careful to make sure this isn't some Reddit Boston bomber marathon bullshit. Cisco Talos did an interview with someone who dealt with was a perpetrator of the Lockbit ransomware. Take everything in that with a little grain of salt, but kind of an interesting view into the headspace of a malicious actor and why they do some of the things that they do. Barcode scanning apps have been around for a long time, and there was one that's been installed 10 million times, and all of a sudden it got malicious. By that we mean that some code was pushed out in an update that made it malicious, and boom, be careful about what updates are requested on your fucking phones. GE hospitals have 100 devices that have hard-coded backdoors, and they've decided, oh, we're going to fix it. We're providing on-site assistance. A patch isn't required to solve this. Oh, what are they doing? They're changing the passwords. That's kind of fucked up. Sophos reversing labs, 20 million to sample in 20 million executable files that are malicious. It's trying to make machine learning approaches to malware detection more accessible. That's probably pretty cool. Contact Form 7 is some WordPress plugin with 5 million installs, and it's got an arbitrary file upload issue. So if you've got that installed on your WordPress, fuck you, update it. Everything's fucked on your site. You're dead. You're just dead. Speaking of dead, actually, the iPhone 12 has a new magnet thingy on the back for wireless charging, but it turns out it fucks up pacemakers and shit. So, hey, don't buy grandma or grandpa a fucking new iPhone 12 because you're going to fucking kill grandma and grandpa. Don't do it. We're going to close out with some data breaches here. So we got some Florida company that wound up exposing about 1 million records, including full payment card numbers. Yeah, so that fucking sucks. They have services in like 20 states. I didn't get more info. First off, let's just all appreciate the fact that there is a subsidiary of a company called Vodafone that's called themselves Ho. I guess that shit means something different over there. This hack was about 20 million records, name, surname, phone number. Fuck, I missed it all. All right, this one. Bonobos, it's a men's fashion company. 70 gigabyte SQL file with customer address, phone number, partial credit card number, last 4 digits, order information, and password history. So, you know, not so bad, but still kind of bad. And that's the news, my friends. That's the news.
Well, thank you for that, man. Nobody wants me doing the news. Don't make me volunteer. Don't let me volunteer because it's just going to sound like Dennis Miller.
All right, I'm unmuted. Okay, so let's talk about weather balloons. Let's go to the first slide. Sing the song in your head. Thank you very much. Let's pick up some trash. Okay, we will cover a few things like what are weather balloons, why, how to find them. Okay, as you can see on the picture, weather balloon's pretty simple. It's got this nice orange parachute, which you can't see me pointing at. It's got a lot of rope, and then it has the radio sonde hanging down from the bottom, which is where all the goodies are. They tell you the temperature. They transmit it at about 400 megahertz, the ones we're interested in right now. And they've got the humidity, and of course they have a nice little GPS chip on them. They're launched from a bunch of different places. For us, the interesting place is Topeka. Occasionally, we can see them come near us from Dodge City, but that takes extraordinary weather conditions, given how long they fly for, et cetera. Other balloons, there's Alphabet's Project Loon, that is dead. NASA sends up balloons, and various amateur groups send up balloons, usually ham radio affiliated, and sometimes, usually they're for education, you know, get kids interested in STEM. Again, why? Flat was involved. I don't see him here tonight. And you get free things. You get a free UHF transmitter and a free GPS, as we had mentioned before. They just need a little bit of work. Tracking can be provided in a bunch of different ways. Trevor 229 hosts a tracking predictor site, which takes the winds and stuff into account. It's not perfect yet, but it's better than chasing them as they're flying overhead, especially given that roads don't always go in the direction that you need them to when you're chasing things. You can also see them. Yes. It's a UFO. No, it's actually a weather balloon. And it just exploded, and you've got the actual package falling down. Axon shot this. And you can RDF it because you know what frequency it's on. You can hear it transmitting. So if you have a radio direction finder, you can get a much better idea of where the darn thing is. You can also use the online tracker at sondehub.org, which will tell you about weather balloons. And it will show you where they are right now and what their altitude is. It doesn't always work. It works most of the time. And it won't tell you where they came down until they're actually down. Even then, because of where the radio receivers are positioned, you won't necessarily know where it is once it gets below a certain altitude, because people's antenna setups won't see it. How do you track it? Well, the easy way is to whip out a software-defined radio, an SDR, and hook it up with the software and go for it. Make sure you have a good antenna for the frequency. Proper antennas help a lot. You can receive something if you like stick a piece of coat hanger into the socket, but that's not going to work very well. The radio Sundays from Topeka and Oklahoma are on 400 megahertz. So a quarter wavelength antenna, the wavelength there is about 70 centimeters. So yeah, 2.5 feet. So divide that by 4 and you get something you can hold in your hand pretty easily and make easily. And it doesn't cost you too much to buy that copper, although one might get it from Romex. Tracking. If you've got a receiver in your car, you'll be able to know where it is a lot easier. And here we have Axon's totally awesome mobile reception setup, although having older eyes, I would want a bigger screen. And then once it's landed, you can recover it. It's yours to keep. Free U.S. government property. You don't even have to go to an auction. So plan on going through the woods. Plan on getting it out of a tree. Bring a long pole, like a painting pole, and have something screwed onto the top of it so you can either cut or fish stuff out of the tree or encourage it to come out. Don't trespass. Ask people if you can go out. Some people say yes, some people say no. If they say no, please leave. And we have a lovely picture of Reed, Axon, Reed's wife, daughter, and a random who has since joined us, whose handle I have forgotten. Once you have one, what do you do with it? Why, you find someone smart and they reverse engineer it. It's documented. It started out more partial on the web. Reed has done a lot of work, as has the other fellow. My brain is missing here. Have a drink. He's not here tonight, but my apologies anyway. And just like you can find out new models of phones by digging through the FCC's website for licensing, you can find out more about this, and that's how it was, the transmitter specifications was found out, because Lockheed Martin had to get a license in order to experiment with these, because they're radio transmitters. And so that's how the basics of this were found. And Richard Allen is the other fellow doing reverse engineering. Transmitter specifications, words. The emission designator over here is at least interesting, and it's gone to the next page. Good. Okay, the hardware on the board. We've got a TI transmitter chip that does FSK, a GPS, and a microcontroller. Also the temperature and humidity sensors, which are of interest. So what can we do with the modified transmitter? Why, we can turn it into something that transmits on the amateur band, because the proper amateur band for 70 centimeters is 420 to 450 megahertz. And that's within the specs of the transmitter that's on the board. And we can turn it into APERS, which has an acronym. And the interesting part about APERS is you can transmit messages. The chief thing that it's good for is saying, hey, I'm here. I'm, in fact, right here at this GPS location. When there are a lot of hams out in the field and we're doing something like storm spotting or emergency work, or even if you are proctoring a race, which we do a lot when there are races, because people have medical problems and you need to know where folks are, et cetera, so you can get help to them on the course. So that's why we like to know where we are. The data is transmitted 1200 baud. In fact, it's Bell 202. And then there's a protocol on top of the Bell 202. Bell 202 is good because just like Bell 103, you can start your transmissions with your carrier and then just squirt the data out. The data is always in the same format, and you don't have to do any syncing up like with the 56K modem where the modems spit at each other. You just fire it up and out it goes. All right, and so there was some monkeying about to see how far away, and sure enough, you can go up to 500 megahertz, which puts it straight smack dab in the middle of this, which puts the good parts of the transmission spectrum within the ham band. So it's of very much of interest to us. Richard Allen did the firmware reverse engineering. Really interesting. He produced some nice assembler code. And also, he's got some flow diagrams, which are just cuckoo, and how complex they are. The person who originally did the work did a lot of work, and then Richard, even though he may have used some tools, he helped make sense of it, and that is very impressive. So the hard part is turning the transmitter, which is just frequency shift keying, into audio frequency shift keying. Audio frequency shift keying is what you hear with modems, because they go and wiggle the audio frequency in order to represent bits, as we all know. So as it so happens, other people have written code for similar devices, and it can be modified. So that means less work for everyone. We do end up using all the available timers in the chip, but there are a sufficient number of them. The GPS is a fairly standard chip. The data output is known. With the one caveat, if you miss a piece of data, oops, it's going to take a while to resync. The hardware interface was done by Reed, and it's very slick. It's got the SecKC logo on it, because why not? And it uses a ST Microdevices ST7 programmer, which I'm sure everyone has there in their house. So what next? Decode the full payload transmitted by these bad boys. The full payload format is not yet known. It would be good to know it and put it in the AutoRx software, which is up on GitHub. That decodes a number of Sonde devices and will tell you what they're actually saying. So you can get their position and the humidity and maybe even the air pressure off of some of them. Go to Topeka and get a tour and watch them launch some of these balloons. We're going to violate the rule of travel, because it's going to take much longer to get to Topeka than it will to actually watch the launch go up. But it will be fun. Get a programmer that actually works. Capture a 1680 megahertz Sonde from Omaha, or I would add I think Dodge City is also launching those. And then there's another type that's used in Europe a lot. So a lot is known about this Vesala RS41 unit that's launched from Billings. And that is the left slide. I'm going to stop sharing for now. Thank you. Hopefully I didn't buzz through that too fast. I don't see, oh, that's the ops channel. I'm looking for new mentions. There we go. Thank you, Reed. In the outhouse, are there any questions? And yes, yep. There's questions. Reed's been handling some of the questions.
So I'll throw one out real quick just because I'm a little bit curious. You talked about, like the last slide, finding different sondes.
Mm-hmm.
What's the value of the other sondes? Are they set up differently, or I guess I don't really know the difference.
The RS41, more is known about it. In terms of reverse engineering, there's less work to be done. It's free stuff. It's interesting electronics. The 1680 megahertz ones are transmitting. Well, they're transmitting outside a ham band. The next ham band up would be 2.4 gigahertz. Yes, we have an allocation that's stomped on by microwave ovens and consumer devices like Wi-Fi. But the interesting things on these are the transmitters, because we can turn them into APERS devices. Because you wouldn't want to dedicate a giant radio. No, I can't. That one's hooked up. This one's hooked up. You wouldn't want to dedicate a giant radio. This is a stand-in for radio. Either this size or twice as large. You know, big footprint. In order to transmit your location to other people. Ideally, this is something you would mount in your car and forget that you put it there. Assuming you don't mind transmitting all the time where you are. I can see that. Yeah. Thank you, Reed. Yes. Awesome. Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Joel. Yeah, balloons. So you get the other devices because it's more fun things to play with, is the real answer.
Cool. And I am totally behind that answer.
Yeah, that's what we're all about, isn't it? More goodies, more projects. Projects we haven't started yet. I know I can open this.
So doing some digging here, I found that the Weather Service is going to change over to a completely new system in 2 years, I think. So we get to do this all over again.
Shit. Yep. Well, hopefully liquor won't destroy my work laptop. But projects like a Rencon Sentinel, which is sort of kind of a Raspberry Pi with a broken HDMI port and a display on the top that could be used for something. something. I don't know what yet, but it was cheap. And I will admit to having projects I haven't started yet. All right, well, I guess we can pass the mic on to the next person.
Well, thank you very much, man. Definitely appreciate it. And I just want to express appreciation for your Zoom background. That is outstanding.
Thank you. I love Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I am resisting the urge to do the Pee Wee voice. Let's all be thankful. All right, we will take a quick break for about 10 minutes. So feel free to grab yourself a beverage, hang out, stare at whoever left their camera on, whatever works for you. And we will pick things back up here right at 8. So chat on Discord and hang out. We'll talk to you in a few.
o'clock, so I can go ahead and get ready to start. It looks like the Zoom is, or the YouTube stream might be catching up or something, but is my screen shared okay? And can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome.
Sweet, thank you. I really wanted to start just again saying thank you. It's really very cool for me to have this opportunity to be presenting, because it was not very long ago that I was really attending my very first SecKC meeting as a newbie to this whole world. You know, the SecKC community has been incredible, and very happy to have this opportunity to now give something back. I do have, you know, as I mentioned, I was kind of new to the InfoSec world. I come from a background, my previous career was in education and training. And so I'm hoping that I might be able to share some kind of useful knowledge for people here related to using TryHackMe for both learning as well as teaching anything that you might need to teach about. So as you can see on the first slide here, my name is Steve Ward. In the Discord, I go by Steve, not real creative, but I'm using the handle OSINT Stan on Twitter specifically for my TryHackMe room, actually. So room updates and so on. I plan on using that, you know, that Twitter for kind of a hub of putting contact information out and whatnot. Anyhow, getting into it here. Oh, where's my? There we go. So I've got a fairly straightforward agenda for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to just do an overview of the platform. I'm going to introduce what it's like to experience the platform both as a learner as well as a room creator or, you know, teacher even. And then I will be unveiling a surprise at the end, which seems to be kind of customary for a lot of the SecKC meetings. There's like a tool being released or something like that. And then of course we'll have some Q&A time at the end. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump in to learning with TryHackMe, or THM as it's called. Now, they try to lure people in with the offering of their free courses and all the free rooms and whatnot. And that's true. There are a lot of good free resources through the platform. But personally, what drew me into it was the learning paths that are available. And I kind of picked the complete beginner to show you here. And approaching the paths with that focus on like trying to do like the free rooms got pretty tedious pretty quick, because the free stuff is kind of sprinkled in the mix with kind of the more premium content. And so I ended up actually just doing the paid subscription pretty quickly, because I mean, it's only $10 a month, which makes it one of the cheapest, most affordable platforms out there, as far as I know, for learning a lot of this stuff. And in that path, you can see how the content is presented. Each of these headings, you see like Linux fundamentals, introductory networking. These are groups of classes, or what they call rooms, that they group together kind of like so. So we're looking at the cryptography kind of set of rooms here. And you can see you've got encryption, crypto 101, then you've got hashing, part of crypto 101, and then you've got John the Ripper here in the middle. And this is, if you notice on that previous slide, when I started putting this presentation together, I went back and I looked at that beginner path. I was like, wait a minute, 97%, what the hell happened? I finished it, I was 100%. Well, they added content, right? So there's always bringing in new content, and they're even continuing to kind of build out some of these learning paths. In particular, the defensive security path has a lot of content that is not actually even published yet. So if you go into like the defensive security path and kind of look through some of the courses available, a lot of them are going to be released here in the next few months still. So anyway, one of these days I need to go back and do the John the Ripper room so I can be 100% complete on that again. And then when you actually go into one of the rooms, it has that same kind of look and feel. You can see it's divided into the different tasks, which are kind of like chapters. If we think of it like a textbook, make like a textbook comparison here. And because this is somebody else's content, that somebody else made, I'm not going to like go drill down any farther than this until I show you my content. When I show you my content, we'll go into like what the actual tasks look like and so on. But before I do that, I want to point out that you may see on task 4, 5, 6, 7, you see the little blue icon on the right-hand side of the screen. That means that there is a virtual machine connected to that task. So there's going to be some kind of activity in there where it requires actively connecting to another machine and performing some kind of operation. It could be, breaking into it. There are privilege escalation rooms that focus on privilege escalation. There's all kinds of different rooms in the platform. And the way that you do it is, got a little ahead of myself. At the very top of the screen, there's the blue Start Attack Box button. And this will run in your browser, and that's this view here, and you enter like a split screen mode. So the operations that you're going to be performing on your attack box are going to be going out to the VMs that you deploy in the tasks. This experience is buggy. The attack box, what I didn't realize, like when I first started all this, the attack box isn't exactly, it's not like custom configured specifically for the VMs. And any room creator can upload their own VMs to the system. But then, there's configurations that you still have to figure out and whatnot. And it running in the browser, I don't know, after the first, handful of rooms that I completed using the in-browser attack box, I started having a lot of trouble with it. So I ended up taking a step back and doing the OpenVPN way of getting in. So I had a Kali Linux install on a Raspberry Pi, and that turned out to be like a much better experience of going through a lot of the rooms here with TryHackMe. And you'll even notice in some of the write-ups, like if you get stuck on one of the rooms, and so you Google like, okay, what's a write-up for John the Ripper on TryHackMe? A lot of those, like almost 100% are geared towards you doing it on your own kind of local install of Kali or whatnot. So trying to do all that through the attack box didn't end up being so efficient, although I hope that experience improves. Moving on to actually developing my own room. Kind of my first experience with SecKC was at the B-Sides KC 2019 event. And I was lucky enough to get a ticket to the workshop that Ginsberg 5150 put on about open source intelligence. And ever since then, like that's really kind of, I got bit by the OSINT bug, so to speak. And so when I got into TryHackMe and started going through the complete beginner path and whatnot, of course I was looking for like whatever OSINT rooms were available and whatnot. And I found it really to be pretty thin. So I took that as an opportunity. I said, well, I came into this knowing a thing or two about OSINT, although I didn't call it that. I didn't know the term at the time. And I've also since then learned some more, so that, you know what, there's a gap here that needs to be filled. I want to try and add to the library of content here on this platform. But doing so, first getting set up with that wasn't exactly intuitive either. You don't just go to this is the dashboard. Like once you sign up, you'll have your dashboard here. It's kind of your control center. And it looks fairly intuitive. There's a develop icon. It's like, oh, well, I'll just click on the develop icon and away we go. That's not quite the way it works. You actually have to enable it first. So you have to come over here to other, and then it drops down, and then you choose develop rooms, and then you click the little button to turn on the room developer options. I can't think of any reason why they do this. There's no reason I can come up with to explain why they would add all these extra steps, unless there's a problem with just people accidentally, creating a bunch of stuff that just kind of sits around or whatever. I don't know, but anyhow, once you enable that, from then on, it's not so cumbersome. I set out and I developed a room devoted to website research, or web OSINT, as I'm calling it here. And so I go into some historical things, like if a website doesn't exist anymore, getting the historical DNS information, the archive.org, using archive.org to go back and look at snapshots of it, and so on from there. Now the experience of, well, here, let me drill down a bit here first, because I said I would show you from the inside of one of the tasks. And I picked this one because, it's only about 150 words or so of text. And then I've got, 5 questions here, so you can kind of see the format. None of the rooms, in terms of the format, none of the rooms really vary much from this format. You've got the space up at the top. Some of them do have video. Some of them do incorporate video. You can pull in screenshots, although my own experience with embedding images wasn't great. I couldn't get it to work at all, to be honest. So I just gave up on it for mine. But at some of the rooms that I have participated in made a great use of using screenshots. The tables work pretty well, and so on. Now, the questions at the end of each task, these are where it's really pretty similar format, but you can use it a lot of different ways. It's kind of question and an answer. There's also an ability to put a hint, which I really quite liked as a learner going through and learning via TryHackMe. So now on the back side of this, as a teacher, I'm going to kind of show, this isn't the full interface, but this is kind of the meat and potatoes of it, because it wouldn't fit on the one screenshot here. As you can see, it's a straightforward WYSIWYG editor. And this again gets a little buggy. I more than once I would lose the content that I wrote. At one point, I lost probably 700 words of content that I wrote by the classic mistake of not saving often enough and having to go back and redo it. I found that if you're doing a long session of messing around in this WYSIWYG editor, it's going to start getting buggy after a while. So if you're in there for a couple of hours and you're trying to hammer out some long tasks and whatnot, make sure you're saving a lot, and even like close down the browser and reopen it. Kind of basic troubleshooting stuff will improve that. Yeah, exactly. Save early, save often, completely. And then I had one thing that I will say was a pretty terrible experience, was trying to reorganize the tasks and even the questions as well. When if you're dealing with 10 questions at the end of a task, you can't reorder them at all. You can delete the most recent one that you added. You can delete like the 10th one, and then the 9th one, and then the 8th one. So it's, you can copy and paste it out and whatever, delete it and start over. But it's just that part, to be frank, is just a major pain in the ass. And similar with rearranging the tasks. You can do it. You can rearrange the tasks a little bit. But when you get into a more intricate room that has, 10 or so tasks, if you're doing a lot of rearranging, one thing that happened to me was all of a sudden I had like 5 of the same task. Like, and then I was like, well, what happened to task 4 and task 3? I have 5 task 5s. And that was a frustrating experience there too. But luckily I didn't lose too much information out of that. So yes, definitely save early, save often, work in short bursts, close down the browser, restart it, and come back for really the best experience with it. Yeah, okay, so now the room, my web OSINT room is, right now it's a private room, and it has been accepted as a public room, but it's not published yet. And the process behind that is not real clear on the FAQ. So basically what you have to do is, when it's all ready to go, you also have to have your own walkthrough or write-up that you submit along with it. So you want to attach like an official write-up of some sort. They all have to have that. And then you're going to submit that and then wait. For me, it was about 4 days before I heard anything back, which isn't terrible, but I had no idea how long it was going to take at all. Like there's no guidelines published or anything like that. So I was just kind of sitting and waiting. And then they came back after that 4 days and they gave me 3 things to fix. And it was like, broken hyperlink here. It was the kind of really kind of small technical stuff, which was fine. Did not take me long to fix. And I was worried because, like, come on, am I gonna have to wait another 4 days before I hear back from those 3 little fixes? But no, it was actually just like the next day that I heard back. There was, I think, 1 or 2 more rounds of that, and it was really within a week that I got the notification that the room had been accepted to be published as one of their public rooms. This was in mid-January. So something around like the 12th, 13th, something like that. When they accepted the room for publication, they told me the publication date is February 22nd. So it's a long lead time. They plan this out. They have a publication schedule for pushing out new rooms, which in retrospect, I kind of like. I like that. It feels like there's thought that goes into how they push these out, and they're not just kind of putting stuff out there randomly. So I think that's actually kind of a strength there. But if you're publishing for some kind of intentional purpose, like in the lead up to an event or something like that, that's definitely something to take into consideration. I will say, though, that as a private room, you can share the room with anybody you want, but it has to be the specific link that they give you as the share link. So I had somebody that I had play test the web OSINT room, and they tried to then share the room with another person, which I was totally fine with. I didn't mind. But they just copied and pasted from their browser URL. And then that third person was like, hey, what's going on? It says it's a private room and I can't come in. Like, okay, just try this link. So I sent them the actual share link. So that's a kind of a little, I don't know. Room creation tips: save your work often, relaunch the browser, as I mentioned. The write-up, I think, presents a good opportunity for the more technical rooms that I've participated in. Some of my favorite rooms were where the instructions in the room were fairly basic. like they point you in the right direction. They talk about the tool they're introducing or whatever. But then the write-up goes into a lot more detail. And so you're kind of capturing a couple of different groups of people. You're capturing the more advanced people that are looking for more of a challenge, and then you're also providing something in the same lesson, in the same room. You're also providing valuable material for kind of the people with less experience, kind of the more the newbies. So that's my recommendation there. The tags that you configure your room with at the beginning. So when you're first setting up a room that you're creating, it's going to say, you know, a room should have tags, and it encourages you to put like a lot of tags. And they say it makes it more easy to find on the TryHackMe platform. What they don't tell you is when the person finishes your room, they're going to get like a celebratory pop-up that comes up on the screen and try to get you to share about finishing the room on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, like whatever socials you may have that you might want to share about it on. I've noticed with Twitter that when you click on Twitter, it'll pre-populate the tweet. And, you know, it'll give like the room name. I just completed this room on TryHackMe, and then it just has all of those tags after it on that tweet. So if there's too many tags on the room, it's going to be too long for the tweet, and it's going to be annoying. They have to go back and delete. But the important thing in here is, if I compare TryHackMe to like Udemy, Udemy is about 40% learning management system, 60% marketing machine, right? And with Udemy, there's a lot of encouragement, a lot of ways for you to actually interact. You can get questions from the students. You can send out email blasts to everybody that is part of the course that you made, and so on. TryHackMe doesn't have that. There's actually no way to do that. But something I'm kind of testing out just to see if it works is I put my screen name, OSINT Stan, as one of those tags. And then I'm only going to put a few tags on the room. And then if somebody tweets that out, I'll monitor it on Twitter. I follow the hashtag on Twitter, and I can see that somebody completed it. I can retweet, I can say congratulations, whatever, as the case may be, like that. So there is kind of an end around way of giving some feedback to the people that complete your room. Another idea, because of the problem with the URL, that share URL, using bit.ly or even just buying a domain name, like a $2 domain name with your room's name to have forward to that same domain name. I think in conclusion, it's a lot of user created content. You do get variable quality of the content on THM. Room creation, relatively straightforward, but buggy. All in all, it's a pretty good platform for being what it is. It's very cheap. It's free to create rooms. You can leave them private if you want. A consideration, though, is if you are making public rooms, you are making their platform better, and you don't get anything in return. So some people might have an issue with that. It's like, I'm just giving you free content. For me, I didn't care too much about that. I just kind of wanted to try my hand at creating this room. So okay, so I apologize about being a few minutes over time here. I'm gonna get to the end. I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of the Trace Labs organization that runs open source intelligence competitions related with active missing persons cases. They're just getting ready to kick off their 2021 season. And as for me, I'm jumping back into competing again. 2020, I made it a personal goal to complete the senior judge badge. So I am a senior judge I have the senior judge badge with Trace Labs. And in that process, and I have taken a lot of the trainings for Trace Labs events, but as a judge, I've seen a lot of the common mistakes that are getting made that are not being covered in some of these other classes. So I made up a people OSINT room for TryHackMe that has a lot of, it's a lot of focus on methodology. It's a focus on methodology, how to report intelligence the right way, how to discern, valuable intelligence from less valuable intelligence, all of this kind of stuff. And so, I'm hoping, I think it would be awesome if we took the SecKC OSINT channel and spun up, like a team for the CTFs, SecKC CTF team. And there's no reason that we just have to have one. The CTF teams are limited to 4 people, but we could have, 4. We could have 4 teams if we wanted as many as whatever interest there is, we can run with it and we can make it happen. So if you are interested in that, join the OSINT channel, hit me up on one of my socials, the OSINT Stand Twitter or on Discord. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And then also you see the links here for the rooms. And then these are also on the OSINT Stand Twitter. They're the pinned post on the OSINT Stand Twitter account, if you want to check those out. Okay, I made it through, so I'm open for any questions people might have about the TryHackMe platform as best as I can.
Yeah, I've got a quick question for you.
Sure.
So I'm, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I think it was really good. I think the information's really good. And I love hearing from the perspective of a content creator, because that's something I very much want to do as well. I was curious if you've seen any value added to like your professional career from this so far, if there's anything specifically relating to the room that's like added to your resume or even just your experience working interpersonally.
Not as of yet. There's yeah, I mean, I haven't been into it for too long, and I haven't really been actively like I'm not, like my current job, I'm not in like an InfoSec specific role. I'm working a service desk position right now. So that being said, I do work a lot with like Active Directory. So I am wanting to dive into like the Active Directory rooms, the Kerberos stuff, because this is stuff that does come up in my work. I've kind of thought about the idea of using it to just to kind of see what happens if I could create a virtual machine kind of similar to like the corporate environment I work in, to theoretically train people, right? Train people for some like a printer install or something like that. But yeah, I haven't yet had that happen. No. Another thing I'll mention, there is a little bit of a kind of a unintentional bias towards kind of red team pen testing stuff in the platform. And I say that because when I did the complete beginner room, and I got all the way through it, then I started looking at the content of some of the other rooms. And I noticed for the CompTIA Pen Test Plus room, I was 85% complete. So I had not intentionally taken any of that content. So it makes an easy jumping off point to be like, well, I'm almost done with this Pen Test Plus one. I can go into that. Now I have no idea how well that actually prepares you for the Pen Test Plus exam. So I don't know about that, but I can kind of see how somebody could start going that direction versus others. Whereas, the blue team path, that's like 66 hours. That's like an additional 66-hour training. Whereas I could do the pen test plus in an additional, I don't know, 10 hours, something like that. And then from there, there's another jumping off point to a more advanced red team pen testing path, like that. So I don't know.
Thanks for the input. That's a great answer. Thank you.
I have a quick question too, if that's all right. I'm curious. So it sounds like TryHackMe has a lot more options than just like CTF and red team kind of stuff. But I was curious if you've ever explored things like Over the Wire or Hack the Box, and how those platforms compare to TryHackMe at all.
I have. Specifically, I think Hack the Box was one that I really put some time into, actually. I liked it. I liked that other format. But as frankly, a beginner, a newbie, I found the TryHackMe system much more approachable. So even though the attack box, right? I talked about the attack box and how it was, it worked okay, right? Well, it worked good enough that it got me into it, right? It got me into it. It got me hooked on it. And then when I started having problems, I was like, all right, I'm going to go figure out how the OpenVPN thing works and get the Kali Linux set up and go from there. Whereas the other systems I found kind of more intimidating, maybe, to be frank. But the TryHackMe seemed to be kind of a lot more truly beginner friendly.
Awesome, thank you.
One thing I am kind of pissed off about with SecKC is with the pandemic, I didn't get the experience of doing the shot at my first at my first event. So I had to supply my own shot. I almost forgot about it. So I got the sheepdog peanut butter whiskey I'm going to do. I pre-poured it for myself.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you.
Well, hey, man, congratulations on the first one. That was excellent.
Thank you.
How did you
Are there
wind
any
up
other
finding
questions?
out about TryHackMe?
Sorry?
What got you into TryHackMe in the first place? If you covered that, I missed it while you were talking.
I don't think I did talk about it. I think I forgot to mention that. It was recommended to me by a friend of mine that was he did defensive infosec with the military for 20 years or so. He just retired, actually. He's younger than me, and he retired. It was recommended to me by him, and he recommended a few of them. Yeah, that's what got me into it.
Somebody recommended to me the advent of cyber last year, which is what got me started on it.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I started that this year, and then when the kids got out for winter break, everything went off the rails. Didn't get a whole lot done in December.
Yep. No, I get it. Believe me. I luck out in that mine are old enough that they're already out. So one of them came back for winter break, but she's kind of self-sufficient. So.
Right. Actually, you can still do it though. I mean, that's worth mentioning. Like the advent of cyber 2020 is still up. Like you can still do it. 2019 is still up too, I think.
Oh, cool.
So if people were into it, they could totally do it. And I think it's none of those you have to be actually a subscriber for. I think. No,
you don't. They're free.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody that's still here. Feel free to hang out however long you want. I think this is officially open until 10 or something like that. So we'll be around. But that pretty much closes out the evening. Hang out with us on Discord. And, you know, SecKC is supported by members like you. So, no, I'm kidding. I'm not really trolling for donations, but always Discord boosts are handy.
And a
Well, thank
grant
you.
from the Chubb group.
If you let me do too much of this, it will all sound like NPR. So, but thank you everybody very much for hanging out with us. Feel free to continue to hang out here. We'll be around for a little while. Obviously, people always, you know, any time of the day, hang out on Discord. I'm sure you'll find someone. So, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Show me how to live my life, man. Andy, you changed your background. You're now like in
4
West-
seasons,
West-
baby.
That's right, 4 seasons.
The classiest place to hold a press conference.
That's right. That's right.
It's America's new nightmare. Got a couple others loaded. I'm constantly frustrated with Zoom's early 20th century image size limit.
Were any of you guys affected by the SolarWinds breach in a capacity you would be, allowed to talk about?
no.
It wasn't in that we were.
Because like people that are either suppliers or downstream, so
Good for you. Good for you. Happy to hear it.
God, what's here?
I'm sure my employer was pissed. They just didn't say anything,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah. It's kind of carnage out there right now, I think.
Well, monocultures are bad.
Agreed.
Andy, is
It's
that
proof positive.
4 seasons